Hello, and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to be taking some of my friends' original characters and trying to draw them from description only. I asked them to provide an image of their character and a description so that I could do just that. So without further ado, let's do that. First off, we have a character by Sorisaku Nona, or Nona. Her character's name is Gylfie. I'm rolling with Gylfie. She is a hybrid owl slash human character, very spooky cryptid vibes. Her color scheme is earthy tones with blue and yellow accents. She is an owl of few words, and her eyes are a solid color, no pupils or distinguishable irises. To not go too much into detail, her clothing is very flowy and simple. Starting off strong with the character of whom I am very unconfident in the accuracy of which I created it in. You see, the main thing that had me tripping up was the fact that she said very spooky cryptid-like. I'm very on the fence if that means that this character is meant to be a cryptid or the idea of an owl-human hybrid is cryptid-like. I went with the first option, though I am not entirely sure that is probably the answer. Something tells me it's not. I also went a bit more literal when it came to her being an owl-human hybrid. I spent some time looking for a specific owl fitting the general description she gave, specifically the thing she said about not having like discernible pupils. And since she said earthy tones, I went with earthy tones. I ended up on a burrowing owl, I can't remember, which was this sort of brown, white speckled owl with no discernible pupil, and it had a yellow beak, which helped with the yellow accent. Something else of note, I highly doubt she actually gave the character a beak. I didn't want to just do like a human with wings, because otherwise she would have just probably described it as a human with wings. So I went more owl, though I fear I may have gone too far. I even tried to make the girls, or Gylfie's bangs mimic the shape of the owl's face, and I am 1,000% confident that I got the outfit wrong, because there is like no blue accents and no real yellow accents. I put these little things, I gave her like this fabric piece that she's wrapped around herself as a skirt, because I was trying to figure out a way that she could legitimately like wear clothing with like her tail and legs. Also, you could probably guess or tell by now, I did not give her arms. I decided to go the full, like, her, you know, the similar bone being arms would be wings, and I did that instead. Mostly because I couldn't figure out a good pose that didn't just look like, you know, a winged human with big toes. Though I could probably have figured it out. But I didn't, and I went with this. Though I think it looks nice, I don't believe in the accuracy of the illustration. I especially am unsure of the vibe, because she said owl of few words, and so I was borderline on two different ideas. Either, you know, she's like cold and calculating, sort of just like silent type, or the more like silent animalistic type. And since she used the wording cryptid-ish, you know, cryptid-like, I went with the more animalistic, which is why I gave her sort of just like a wide-eyed vacant stare. Unsure on that. I probably should have gone the other route. I probably also should have given her a nose and a mouth and maybe arms. I'm not even sure she has bird feet. We'll see. But yeah, to wrap it off, I gave her a silly little background of like some randoid popping up on her in the forest or something. I don't really know about like the time period where she's from. Since she said cryptid, I assumed pseudo-modern. Though, thinking about what I know about Nona, it's probably a fantasy world, if I'm being honest. Okay. It's time for the reveal. This is so scary. I've done like the whole video now before checking all the characters. So now we're going to see Gylfi. Oh. Okay. First off, first opinions off the bat. I freaking love this. I adore this. Second off, if I had to guess, probably was Great Horned Owl. I specifically avoided that one, but that was likely it. Or it's not a specific owl. I see the blue and yellow. I mean, in terms of accents, that's kind of similar to what I did in the end. Anyways, I mean, right? Now, I was right in terms of the two different animalistic vibes. She definitely went for the more cold and calculating vibe. Dude, it's so cute though. It looks like a character from Sky. Like, the one game. I've never played it, but that's what this looks like. It's so cute. Ooh. I knew I got it wrong too. Oops. This is very different than, what I did. I do hope, you still like it though. Alright, and next up we have a character by Octoregis on YouTube and Instagram. His character has a little bit of lore explanation first before getting into the actual character design itself, of which I will now be reading. Well, it's been a while, D. One of the boys who sat near the top of the bleachers said. Nona could only just barely see him from where she stood, but he stood out enough with his nearly stark white hair and red vest he was wearing. I wish you'd keep more in touch. Things really haven't been the same since back when you were my top brass, the boy said. That was a long time ago, Jay, Drake replied in an even voice. We went our separate ways. How about we leave it at that? You're right, the boy agreed. I did let you run pretty loose for a long time, Drake. But it's time for you to return to your roots. You gotta quit wasting your time running from this. What if I refuse? Drake said, his voice unwavering. A mad grin broke out on the red-vested boy's face. Nona felt like it looked sickly, like a plague. And now onto the proper description he gave afterwards. Jaden, which is Jay, the character, that's the one that we're going with. He's about 5'4" with white hair, pale blue eyes, and skin. He usually wears some form of red vest or coat over some kind of chain or scale mail shirt, dark jeans, and combat or hiking boots. He fights with these things called Yuklaz, which is like a short spear, but his have a ring on the back and are slightly concave, and he is convinced they are spoons. He still totally fights with them, but he also eats stuff with them. His favorite food is chocolate, and he may or may not have a pet bear named Grimbor. RIP, if I had more time, I would have drawn Grimbor. Anyways, whew, that was a lot to read all at once. I don't know if you could tell, but I actually sped that footage up a little bit, just so that I could get it all in a reasonable time. I like all the description and the lore, you know, it's intriguing. But anyways, from the vibe of what I gathered, this character was giving anti-hero shonen protagonist, or like a villain that's like not quite yet a villain, but is like at the precipice of villainy, you know? Like, he could either go either way at this point. He could either give up his moral grayness and join the good guys, or could delve fully into villainy. Now, that's just the vibe I got. Now, as per his description, since he was giving a shonen character, at least, I wanted to give him super spiky hair, because the texture of his hair wasn't mentioned, and I also wanted to give him sort of, I don't know, a grin type of pose that is both somewhat lax and carefree, but also mildly menacing, you know? I wanted to portray the sort of unpredictable energy of what I was receiving from this character. One of those characters who on the surface appears to be one of those, like, you know, shonen protagonists, but once you like delve a little deeper, you realize there's something not quite right. Anyways, for the outfit and such, you're absolutely beyond insane in every capacity of conceivable mentality. If you thought I was gonna sit there and draw every single chain link in his shirt, you're absolutely insane. I tried this spoofing method where I sort of like did these little looping patterns to try and make it imply that there was chains there. I don't think it came out particularly well. It does look kind of ugly, you know, and sort of busy. I don't think it came across too well, but you know, it is what it is. For his jacket, I went for something like sort of militaristic adjacently, something kind of like Kakashi from Naruto. I cropped it a little because it made the silhouette look nice. Also, I gave him a little chain thing on his pants so he could hold his yakluas or whatever the crap they're called. I'm sorry. Yeah, and I gave him straps on his boots, and I'm not assuming that this is the right hairstyle. I definitely don't think it is. I really like super stylized hairstyles though, and when I think of a character as being at least adjacently related to a shonen show, I think of my light, my joy, Yu-Gi-Oh! I think of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think of their freaking insane hairstyles. So I rolled with something like that. I give him a fun little like swirl loop thing on his head, and I wanted him to sort of give off like dragony type energy, not for any particular reason other than the fact that they said that he had like light blue skin, if I'm hearing that right, because they said light blue eyes and skin, so I'm assuming this dude is like alien of some kind, you know? But yeah, my biggest regret with this character was the fact that he was giving like high energy, and when I think of high energy character, I think of a dynamic posed in a zoom in close up of like their face, and so I feel like this character was sort of not really meant for just like a stagnant standing pose, so I think that really limited it. So I think maybe that's why I don't like it as much, though I do like it. Like I like this. I would probably draw this character more than once. But yeah, I am somewhat nervous that I got the vibes wrong and that he's not gonna look very accurate. I'm hoping I did him justice. And if not, maybe I'll just have to draw fan art of the OG. I don't know. Okay. Reveal time. Click. Ah. Oh, he's not wearing a chainmail shirt. Oh, he's got like wraps on top of it. I was similar to the hair. Ha! Okay, so I was right in terms of the more ninja aesthetic. Also, those are a lot longer than I was expecting for his Yoklukula whatever the hex. Ooh, those are more like ninja style combat boots than regulars. I hope you can't hear that noise in the background. My cat's tearing up my chair again. But yeah, that's very different in terms of outfit than what I was expecting. Like when I thought of a vest, I was thinking more of, you know, like a jacket type of vest, but this is interesting. I do like this. I almost gave him a hood, but then I was like, nah, he didn't say hood. Also a very different belt than I was anticipating. I knew it. I knew he was a glove man though. I thought about giving him bandages on his arms, but I didn't in the end. Interesting. I like the shoulder pads and the patterns. Nice. I even sort of got the little, like how he has like little whoops on the side of his head, the little hairs that stick up. I definitely misread parts of it because he is not blue. I thought he said light blue eyes and maybe he meant he had light skin and light blue eyes. Interesting. I like all the little like triangle decals. That's nice. I was thinking his little Yaklua thingies were like small. And when he said that they were like round on the ends like spoons, I imagined that they had to have like a little indent because if they were holes in them, you couldn't eat out of them. But I guess he found a way. Anyways, my version may not be 1000% accurate, but I hope you guys like it anyways. Next up, we have a character by my friend Nana Berber on somewhere soon. Her character description is as follows. You are traveling through a jungle and stumble across and startle a centaur brontosaurus as he is eating his lettuce. He is a slightly chubby boy with a scarf and teal sweater. He has goat ears and a surprised face with cute eyes, a detail of which I will forget. Now, as for this character was both super easy and super difficult. It was super easy sort of conceptualizing it. It was super difficult actually executing it. I don't know if you have ever tried, but I personally have never drawn a brontosaurus before, let alone a brontosaurus centaur. However, I will state, after looking up pictures of brontosauruses, whatever you want to say, that I do feel a sort of kinship in that we both have knees that bend backwards. Now, as for the rest of the design, it was sizably easier. I just had to put a little guy and give him the rest of the body. The goat ears did throw me for a loop a little bit because I was trying to think of how that attached to the rest of them, because like I couldn't make them the same color as the skin because that's skin, not fur. Brontosauruses don't have fur. Goat ears do. And if I gave him the same like ears color as his hair, that it would blend in too much. So I just made it like a dark fuzzy green. I don't know. I hope that works. I also didn't get any description on what color he actually was, other than like his clothes. So I opted for green because it worked with the sweater, and I made his hair pink and his eyes pink because I thought it looked cute with everything else. Okay, and there's a Nana-Berber's character. I had a lot less to say on this one just because I didn't have as much difficulty as I did with the other characters. I hope that's cool. I hope I did it justice, and we're about to see. Okay, fear factor time again. Let's go. Ooh, the reveal. Ah, he's cute. He kind of looks like Grian, so I was wrong, and his hair is the same color as the goat ears. Oh, he's cute. I like him. Wasn't expecting his hair to be brown. Well, I mean, I did think there was a chance he was brown. My main thought was that he would be blonde, followed by my thoughts that he would have brown hair. But then I went with pink for funsies. I was right in him being green, though he was a darker shade of green than I was expecting. He also has more human skin, which does make sense. I wasn't expecting Nana-Berber to give him green skin. Overall, I would say it is pretty accurate. I feel like this is like almost exactly the same shade of teal that I used. So, I mean, I would consider that generally a win. You know? Anyways, I hope you all like it. Yay. Next up is a character by my friend Matcha. Her character is a Cookie Run fan OC, and her description is as follows. This is Cardamon Cookie. She is the face of the Spice Family wear shop in the Yogurka Bazaar. She has blonde hair, which is often tied up in segments resembling cardamom pods. She wears a lime green cold shoulder shirt with imperial purple-ish accents, a cocoa leather belt, and a wrap skirt that matches the shirt. You'll never see her without a headband, which keeps her bangs from getting in her face too much. Of course, she works with her family. She makes some of the things to sell at her family's stall. She is an adept blacksmith, and as such, she is almost always wearing protective gloves. She generally goes barefoot. Other cookies often notice the abundance of freckles on her dough, especially near her face. This is because of the cardamom in her dough being scattered about in random places. She is kind, generous, but is bold when it comes to fairness and honesty. She loathes it when shady cookies go about swindling others, and anytime she sees a fight, she gets the unbearable urge to break the fight up. Most Yogurkins like her, but if you ask any old, morally dubious cookie, you'll find most negative comments about her. She has a small rivalry with Lilac Cookie and considers herself to be a little bit of a crime fighter. She is on good terms with Yogurt Cream Cookie. Anyways, sorry for the lack of little doodles for that. I didn't really know what to put, so I just spun the Discord message over and over again. Hope that's cool. But anyways, for this character, this one ended up being the fastest just because Cookie Run has such a simple art style. The character, I gave her, what I assume she meant by the little cardamom braids. I definitely don't think it's giving Yogurka. I think it's giving Greek, but you know what? That's okay. I thought about giving her this little basket, but then it looked a little stupid, so I got rid of it. I tried to remain faithful to the prompt. I hope I did a good job. I gave her a little headband, and since she said to keep most of her bangs out of her face, I gave her little bits of hair that popped out over her eyeball a little bit. And I tried to give her big old gloves. It's kind of hard to, you know, make gloves when they got no hands. And for the accents of purple, I gave her these little like gems, and I tried to make it, the one on her headband, resemble sort of the cardamom plant. I don't know how well that came across. I tried to give her a silhouette like a cardamom pod. Up until this, I had only ever heard the word cardamom in reference to the character from Be It Puppy Cat, so I didn't know this was a plant, so good to know. But yeah, since the cookie run art style is so simple, in fact, my time lapse was very short, and so I barely had time to talk about it. Hope that's okay. But yeah, now it's time for the moment of truth. Okay, truth time. But okay. I like this. So that's what she meant by tied off in braids. She meant like a bubble braid type of tie them off in like pods. I love that outfit. That's really nice. I mean, I was kind of similar on the hairstyle. I just put the headband in the wrong spot. Didn't know she had a sash. I did kinda, almost sorta, in a somewhat tangential way, make her have similar eyes. This is definitely not the same character, I will state. I mean, there's a little bit of a translation error. Definitely a lot less purple on my end. Mine looks more like a farm girl in Greece. I do like this. This is cute. The freckles are a lot more subtle than I was expecting. Made them like greenish. I didn't realize she had green streaks in her hair. Maybe I should have paid more attention. Oh, she's also got like pants on under the outfit. I just gave her a long skirt to avoid that issue. Yeah, this is really cute. I like it. It's not the most inaccurate thing that I've done, but it's not the most accurate thing that I've done. I hope that's cool and everybody likes that. Next up, we have a character by the way I see it on YouTube and Instagram. Here is the description. Alpine is a mild-mannered 20-something who lives in a Nordic-based fantasy setting. He is the third son to a noble family, well off, but not in line to receive much inheritance. As the youngest, he was coddled by his mother, and before he left his home to start out on his own, his mother gave him a fur-lined coat, one of his most prized possessions. Alpine is not too concerned with much in life and is lax, yet optimistic. He is a small-scale merchant, collecting odd items from graves, ruins, and abandoned places, but plays the role of a thoughtful scavenger more than a petty thief. In terms of look, Alpine is a tall and willowy with jaw-length pale hair. He wears padded clothes to withstand the cold at night without shelter, and he has a condensed pack with bedding. He maintains his appearance and keeps clean so that customers don't question where he gets his merchandise. He also has many pouches used to store found objects as well as useful foraging plants he finds on the road. His most notable item is his cloak, which is a thick wool with ermine fur lining the inside of the hood, which he does not typically wear over his head. Now, when I first heard the description for this character, I was kind of excited because, I mean, tall, willowy characters with brown as like their main skewing color palette are kind of like my bread and butter. You know what I mean? I am quite fond of this. He kind of reminds me of my one character, Lysander, just in that they're both tall, willowy individuals with slightly seedy businesses. Who are generally carefree and come from wealthy parents and yet receive no inheritance, though the similarities end there. Now, I don't know if it was easy to tell, but I had a lot of trouble with the pose due to the large coat, or cloak. I was struggling to get a pose that would show everything, and I wanted to make sure that I did not forget his backpack, because I always forget the backpacks, and I made this sketch. When I sketched out all the different poses, I included the backpacks. Anyways, in the final product, you'll see that I forgot the backpack and added it way late into the game because I completely forgot about it somehow, which was bothersome. But yeah. Now, I ended up on this pose where he's sort of like offering this skull to like some random passerby. I don't know. I just thought it would be fun. I doubt this is, you know, lore accurate. And now for his hair, I gave him a sort of like choppy haircut just because I imagine, you know, he does it himself, and being a more carefree guy, it would be a little messier, but, you know, still kempt. I also added these belts on the inside of his cloak so that he could tie up things, because like that's how it is with like a travel backpack, where they'll have like these little belts that you can kind of like tie crap to. And so I added them on the inside so he could, you know, like pull people over like a creepy watch salesman underneath a bridge. Not that he's creepy or anything, but you know. But yeah, after talking about how much I like a brown color palette, I did struggle quite a bit with the colors, specifically the values, so I ended up doing everything in black and white and then using some overlays to get everything looking nice. But in the end, I think he looks nice. How accurate this is, we're yet to see. I had to look into some like Norse fashion to try and get what I think it was. I didn't give him like overly padded clothes. Like I gave him padded clothes, but not so overly, but because the way I see it said that he sleeps outside, and I doubt you're sleeping outside if it's snowing. Now, I'm sorry for the shorter discussion on this. I'm just running low on video time, you know? It's getting kind of long. I'm trying to cut stuff. Not to state that this is not a character I like. In fact, of all of them, this is one of my favorites, at least, in terms of how I think it came out. Okay, ooh, this is the one I'm kind of the most nervous yet excited about. I'm very spooked. I'm spooked. Let's go. Ah. Oh. Oops. I love his nose. I mean, I half got his hair right, half. I got his bangs kind of adjacent. I love that bag. Look at all the little flukes on it. I almost gave him shoes like that, and yet I didn't. Ooh. I wasn't expecting the cloak to be blue at all, or any blue accents. Did she mention it was blue? No, I don't think she did. I was worried that I misread it. Maybe I did. It did give him the same color of the shirt. So, I mean, there's that. That's sort of adjacent. I love his nose. Oh my gosh. Definitely a different outfit. So you can't see the bag on there. So you can't be upset that I didn't do it. Also, she did go with the white ermine. See, while designing what I thought the character looked like, I was looking into ermines and I was trying to figure out whether or not it would be a winter ermine or like a summer, because they change fur patterns. I went with a summer because I assumed it wasn't snowing due to the fact that he slept outside, and so the likelihood of him wearing brown made more sense to me, in the sense that he would be like camouflaging all the time, right? Because he would want to like hide from people while he's, you know, doing stuff, but also animals. You know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's bougie. Maybe he goes out and does his thing and doesn't care who sees him, because he doesn't need to stealth, because he is that man. Anyways, maybe more inaccurate than everyone else. Okay, I would say this is probably the second most inaccurate, perchance, but you know, no, it's the third one at best, right? Anyways, I hope everyone likes this. Sorry, but also I guess that's the point of the challenge, so maybe I'm not sorry. Anyways, at the risk of this video being 40 minutes long, I would like to say thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day today, or whatever time it is you are currently watching this. Goodbye. Bye. It's a long video. Bye.